Next up is Allie.
So 5 things that families in transitional housing should know. First, just an explanation of what the McKinney Vento Act is. So it is a legal protection for students who are in transitional living situations, and the purpose of it is to allow the continuity of education. So families that are experiencing homelessness, which can be staying in a shelter, a motel, their car, also doubled up with family members or friends for economic reasons. That is a definition of homelessness that fits under the McKinney Vento Act that is different than the definition of homelessness that HUD defines. So, but we do have a lot of families in District 65 who are registered as McKinney Vento. And what it does is we are, it's a registration status so that then a student can begin their school faster than if they needed to find their birth certificate or a lease, those things. Like they're allowed to have immediate enrollment. I think I have that in another slide, so I'll talk more about that. What the McKinney Vento Act is not is a way to stay in a school forever and ever. And it specifically says in the law that if a family is doubled up for economic reasons for the purpose of being in the district that they're in, that does not qualify them for McKinney Vento. So we do have families that have been in McKinney Vento status for a long time just because it hasn't been investigated or found out why they're still McKinney Vento. But it's not meant to be just you get to stay in the school forever. What supports that we can offer? So we want to make any barriers to education eliminated. So if a family is staying with family in the south side of Chicago, for example, sleeping on their couch, but they're coming up to school and they want to continue coming to the Evanston schools, they have the right to do that. And they can get support with the transportation, which could be in the form of gas cards, it could be mileage reimbursement, it could be a cab. And then if they're staying in a different part of the city of Evanston that's not the residential district of the school that they're districted for, we can also put them on a district bus. So we help with transportation. Then we also, I was reading my own slide. We also provide referrals to places like Connections for the Homeless and Open Communities and Moran Center. We try to do anything that we can to help with the barriers that they have to finding housing. We can help with a birth certificate. If somebody needs a birth certificate, then we have a way to request it at no cost. What else did I say in my previous slide? Tutoring. Oh yes. So we do have a tutoring system set up. Students who are in transitional living situations, moving, statistics say moving can cause a student to fall 2 to 3 months behind in their education. And so we have a tutoring system set up right now with some funding that we got from the state to be able to offer extra tutoring for students. And we also have funding to help with things like medical appointments, getting to medical appointments. If you need a Uber to get to a medical appointment, if you need a fee paid for, we have money for that. We also have money for recreational activities. We want students who are in transitional living situations to be able to participate like any other student. So camps, after-school programs, clubs, sports, we have some funding for that. It is a grant, and so it's not a forever ever funding, but the idea is that we're able to support as much as we can with these things. All students should receive immediate enrollment. Like I said, they don't have to prove residency with a lease. They don't necessarily need to have a birth certificate. They don't need to have the medical forms. They get to start school right away, and then we work with them to try to catch up on those things. They are categorically eligible for free lunch. So that is an immediate enrollment. They still need to fill out their free and reduced lunch application just to be on the books. Fee waivers for any school expenses. So if there's a field trip, if there's some supplies that the school is asking for students to buy, we waive that fee. There's priority enrollment for preschool. So if a family has a preschool age child, we try to hold spots for them and get them into that right away. And then exemption from the medical exclusion. So it's a state law that every student has to have a physical on file with the district. And on October 15th, I don't know why, but that's the date, that if a student doesn't have that on file, then they're excluded from school and they're not allowed to come to school unless they have a physical. McKinney Vento students are exempt from that. We continue to work with them to get their physical. So the fifth slide is about how McKinney Vento success is most likely to happen. And the idea of a McKinney Vento status is that it's not meant to be forever. We want it to be temporary. We want families to be in transitional living situations for a short period of time, as short as possible. So we do the referrals to connections. We try to help them find housing. And the way to have most success with that is that if we're in constant communication and we're always like, if a person needs help, to ask for it and to advocate for it. I have found out about families that moved away after the fact because they didn't know that there was help available for them to like pay off a utility bill. And then we will along the way make a support plan, and we'll have like everybody has their to-do list, and so following through on any of the recommendations is something that's likely to help a family get housed. So I think that's it in a nutshell.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks.